Good afternoon. I'm Tim Carter. It says I'm live. I'll believe. How are you today? I am. I'm doing pretty good. I a lot going on. Can't believe it's Thursday. The Been a very interesting week, to put it mildly. We're going to be talking about sheds in just a minute. How to build one. Well, it's going to be what you should know when you go to build one. What you should know. For me to tell you how to build a shed, I don't know, 80, 120 hours of conversation. So you have no idea. I mean, just to build a wall, just to frame a wall. Do you have any clue of how many steps that is? Oh my gosh. I got some really interesting things to report. There's an old saying, uh, elephants are best eaten one bite at a time. And I'm about ready to bite into a big one. I was starting to do some research this afternoon on my competitors, and I would say my two big competitors are Family Handyman and probably Fine Home Building. I'm somewhere in between those two. And I went. If you've not been to the Family Handyman website, I urge you to go because it's like nothing is for free. And I've been in this battle with a percentage of my newsletter subscribers over the past 10 days who they've been trying to make me feel like I'm the biggest slime bag in the world for wanting to charge for premium content. and and I don't know, maybe they're communist. I don't know. I just don't. I mean, I don't know. I'm open to your thoughts. Oh my gosh, how you doing, Will? Anyway, hey, Steve, boy, you're here early. Holy tomato. Good. I'm glad you're here. Anyway, there's big changes coming with Ask the Builder. Just that it's really hard to do because I'm only one person. And one of the first things, what's already started to happen, and I'm definitely testing the waters. This is going back to my roots. I talked about this a little last week, where when I first started Ask the Builder, I would write a column, and you get paid so little money by the newspapers. I'm not kidding. I got paid when I first started out. I got $12 a week. $12 a week. I'm serious. You finished at 4:30 to wow, good for you, man. At 14:30. Okay, so yeah, 14:30. Yeah, that'd be 2:30 in the afternoon. But now it's 9 o'clock your time. All right, got it. Um, so I used to sell a piece of premium content, 4 typewritten pages about the column, just more topic in depth. Well, I'm going back to that, and I think I may have shared this a couple of days ago. I'm going to share with you right now the most recent. I'm going to share with you a column that I wrote that's starting to appear nationally in papers all over the nation, and and then you can see the content. You can see the premium content. So I think I just want you to look at this, and then take I'm not saying to buy anything. I'm just saying take a look at it, and you can see where we're going. But take a look at this. All right. In the meantime, I want you to get your shed building questions fired up. If you're here because you want to know how to build a shed, it's going to work best if you start to put in to the chat exactly what you want to know about, because then I'll spend time on that. I don't want to waste time on things you don't need to know about. So just check in and type your name, or just check in and type hi, and then a question if you have one about building. Simple as that. Uh oh wow. Okay, yeah, you're on a double shift tomorrow. Woo, that's early, 7:30. Holy tomato. Um No worries, man. If you got any questions, Steve, about anything that's not shed related, now's the time to ask it. Go ahead, interrupt the stream because I'm going to talk about the sheds. But if you've got a burning question, go ahead and ask. Hello, Benitez. Hello. All right, Steve. I don't know if there's any kind of a latency or not. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. All right. There was a big, just so you know, I'll just say this. I don't know if you saw anything over there in London, and we don't need to discuss this, but I just want to let you know there was a big breaking story yesterday about how this person, hello, Don, who somehow has a copy of Hunter Biden's laptop hard drive, was able to bring back to life 120,000 emails and 80,000 photos. And the guy fled to Switzerland because he was afraid of getting killed here in America. So anyway, check that story out. All right, let's get started on the sheds. It's a really interesting topic. It's a very popular topic across America. There's a lot of websites that sell shed plans. I happen to have a really deluxe shed. It's more than a shed. I mean, it's like a small house that I built up on the hill about 7 years ago. And what was really interesting about that build is I did it as a Kickstarter project. So if you actually go to Kickstarter, it was one of their early projects. It was right when Kickstarter was starting. And if you just type into Kickstarter, ask the builder and shed, it should come up. And I announced it in my newsletter, and one of my subscribers, a really nice guy, he reached out to me privately and he said, listen, he said, I live in the Washington, D.C. area, but I would love to come up and help you build that shed. And make a long story short, he came up for a week, and it was really amazing. He helped me record a bunch of videos. It was absolutely remarkable what we got done in 6 days. It was the shed is 16 by 24, and before he arrived, we had poured all the piers. They were done, and so by the time he left a week later, I mean, it's a 16 by 24 shed, and it's got almost 10-foot high walls. We had started to frame the roof. We had about half the rafters in, and we worked our butts off. But it was a lot of fun. His name was Robert Moore, and he loved ice cream. And he ate dinner with us every night. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, he's going to get death threats. It's going to be. There's some really interesting things that are going to start happening in the next 2 weeks. It's the beginning of the end, is the way I see it. All right. Here's the first thing you have to do when you build a shed. All right. So this is where almost everybody runs off the rails. So I'm not the only one who runs off the rails. All right. I do it all the time here on these streams. Oh, Steve, by the way, I'm switching to a new schedule next week. I think I emailed you that. Anyway, it's Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. So Monday, Wednesday, same time, 9:00 your time. And then Saturday morning would be 1:00 in the afternoon your time. All right. So you have to plan the shed the right size. Here's the mistake. Here's how people make a mistake. They'll go to a business that sells the pre-made sheds, and they'll walk into the shed and they'll open the doors and they'll look at it and go, oh my God, this thing's huge. Like this one's too big. We don't need that one, and then they get it home and it's too small. They're always too small. And I have a really, really great video on the website on Ask the Builder, and just go there and type into the search engine, plan a shed. Is he the guy in the Tam hat? I don't know. I don't know if that's him. All right. So you want to know what's the best wood to build a shed? And so the best wood, as far as I'm concerned, the floor, Steve, the decking, while I'm talking, I'm gonna search. I'm gonna try to do something that typically only women can do. Um, and now you can see why. Let's see. So see, I want if Lorene was here, she would have been able to talk and type at the same time. All right. So, Steve, the best wood, as far as I'm concerned, is to is you want to use treated lumber for the floor. Anything that's close to the ground, it's got to be treated lumber, and to make sure that it's rated for ground contact. So over here in America, I don't know what they sell in the UK. Here's a video. That's the video that you need to watch to how to plan a shed. All right, so you got to do that. I don't know what they sell in the UK, but here in America, we have different grades of treated lumber. Some of it's rated for ground contact. That's got more of the preservative in it. So absolutely always use ground contact. And I even go so far, a lot of people don't realize this. You can buy treated lumber plywood. In my shed, the whole floor is treated lumber plywood. So if I go into the shed, if I've got, I don't know, a snow blower that with a snow, whatever, if I could go in there with wet stuff and the floor's not going to rot out. So buy treated plywood. All right. Your next question was, no, you do not have to use different wood for hot and cold climates. The only thing that I would recommend, though, if I was building a shed down south, here in the southern United States, Florida, Georgia, all the Gulf Coast states, South Carolina, even Tennessee, big termite problem. Termites are a big issue. I would give serious consideration to framing the whole thing with treated lumber. But termites even eat treated lumber. I've got photos of it on my website. They ate some 4x4s that I had buried in the ground. The termites ate them, and they were guaranteed not to deteriorate. All right. I don't know what the TAM hat is. I think you might be right. That might have been Robert Moore. I think so. All right, Benitez. In 2000, I bought my house. The shed was taken down, and I asked to build a new one, despite having a huge shed. Rabbits allowed me to build it with measurement. That would be correct. No more bigger talk was permitted. I can't build anything up and now it's 4 walls. So that's a great question. So your question there is, it's about zoning regulations, and that gets back to well, it gets back to a politics discussion, to be honest with you, because the people who are in power, even though it's it's actually just, it's not really your property. A lot of people think Steve can actually talk to this because he lives in the UK, United Kingdom, where the king used to own all the land. And here in America, believe it or not, the government still owns all the land. And I know that sounds crazy, but the proof of it is, if you stop paying your real estate taxes, the government comes and takes your land. All right. I mean, they just come and take it. So you tell me who owns the land. Anyway, the problem is I used to be a zoning official, Benitez. The mistake you made, let's see what you said. You said the shed was taken down. Okay, so I don't know who took the shed down. What should have happened is here's the new tip. Before you ever do anything, you always stop and go check the zoning code, because there could be what we call a grandfather clause. Whereas if you I'll give you a great example. Some zoning codes have changed a lot, and your current house could be against the code, but they won't make you tear it down. But if you have a fire and they come in and they assess that your house is some percentage destroyed, they go, too bad, sorry, you got to take the house down and you got to build the new house according to our new code. Setbacks and everything. It's really horrible. It's horrible. So it's just a zoning issue that you're facing, and it's horrible. And typically, just so you know, you can ask for a variance if you want to build a bigger shed, but you have to to win in a variance, you have to show, what's the right word? Not that you've been injured. Um, there's a word for it in the zoning code. You have to you have to show that if you don't get the variance, bad things are going to happen. All right, you have to prove that. So, hello there, William. Anyway, so we'll get back on track here. Planning. Here's how easy it is to plan a shed. Hardship. Exactly. That's what I was looking for. Hardship. You have to prove a hardship. You can't just say, I want to build a bigger shed. You can't. Here's how easy it is to plan a shed. It's probably one of the easiest things to plan. You probably have a good idea of everything you want in the shed. It might be in your garage, crammed in your garage right now. And so take all of the stuff that you want in the shed and go put it out on the lawn and arrange it on the lawn exactly how you think it's going to be in the shed. Meaning you don't want your snowblower on top of your lawnmower. I mean, that's crazy. So you would space things out, and you don't want to have to move anything to get to something else. All right. So that's crazy, because then everything's jammed in again, like your garage. So put it on the lawn, make it in, space everything out, put in the workbench that you want to have or whatever. Just make that out of a piece of cardboard, a pattern, whatever it is. Put everything in the shed. All right, now take some stakes and a string and surround everything with string. Guess what? That's the inside of the walls of your shed. That's how simple it is. What's the t-shirt going to say? Nothing about this is hard. All right, so that's how you plan how big the shed has to be. All right, William, I'd like to build a shed big enough to live in it. Okay, that's easy. 16 by 24. I built it. I hear what you need. You need this. I'm telling you right now, William, you need this. Stand by. I have got exactly what you want. I am getting them for you right now. There it is, right there. I have got exactly what you need. I swear. William, you need to go get these. Go get those plants. Go get them. That's exactly what you need. Steve, do we have any experience with Dayco timing belts? And have you heard of a whip belt? I have no idea what that is. It sounds like something to do with a car, like a timing chain. I don't know. And Benitez is right. Sometimes zoning do not allow sheds as living places, but guess what? William will put those dark out shades on his windows in the shed. No one will know he's living in it. And if an official comes by and says, hey, we got a complaint that someone's living in your shed, you go, I don't think that's true. And don't let them look at the shed unless they've got a warrant. All right. I'm an ask for forgiveness guy. That's how I am. All right. So now we got the planning down. Benitez laughing. So now you know how big to build the shed. So to Benitez's point, so now you know how big it is. Now you've got to go to the town or your city to find out if you're allowed to build it. All right. Now I said I was an ask for forgiveness guy, but I mean, I'm not going to spend 15 grand on materials to find out I have to tear it down. And I had to do that in my town. And here's the cool thing. Most towns or cities, they'll accept a very simple hand drawing that you draw. I mean, you don't have to hire an architect. You can get the building permit generally with pretty simple plans. You can use my plans. Absolutely get a permit. All right. So yeah. Yeah, Steve, here's what it is. I'm not a car guy. Here's the thing. I don't have much interest in cars. I don't like them because they lose value. They're like a loaf of bread, they just use them up. I do some of the work on my own truck and cars. For example, I don't even hesitate to tear all the brakes apart, put new rotors on, brake pads. If you remember, just 3 weeks ago, I had to put a new brake line on my truck on my driver's side front left. Um, I don't tear apart engines. I don't tear apart transmissions. Um, but I'll do minor repairs. But I don't know anything about. I don't know anything about it. Yes, Will. Correct. Setbacks. Interesting. A wet belt, I just learned, is a rubber timing belt, but in your oil. That's really odd. That's crazy. Some of these cars, man, the way they're built. I just found this out. My wife's car, we've got a Volvo. It's a XC90, top of the line car, 2005 model. So it's 17 years old. And all of a sudden, the stupid anti-skid light comes on. Like, it says anti-skid requires service. Like, what do you mean anti-skid? I'm just going to put my flipping foot on the brake. So I go onto YouTube to look up this video, and here, buried deep inside of the steering column, is some weird round sensor in the flipping steering column. I mean, if there was an anti-skid control, I just open the hood up and look at all the room. There's like so much room under the hood. What kind of engineer? The engineer who designed this must have been a sadist. He must have like said, you know what? I'm going to make it so flipping hard for people to fix this. It's not even funny. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy. So it's like, to hell with it. I'm not fixing it. I don't care what anybody says. The car stops just fine. Well, I got gas leak for $1.49. Yeah, right. No way. Are your cars chain driven? I have a drive shaft. You got gas. Oh, Will's a flipping comedian. I I think maybe you mean like a chain driven timing belt. We have a chain driven, and we have I think these reinforced rubber ones. It depends on the car. So anyway, but my truck has got a big, thick flipping drive shaft, buddy. That's how it gets power from the transmission to the back wheels. All right. Now let's move on about the shed. You know how big it is. Let's assume you got your building permit. You're ready to flip and go. All right. So you got to put foundation in. Piers work great. They're just concrete. Just think of like a table. Just think of how a table's supported. A table in your kitchen or in your dining room's got 4 legs or 6 legs. That's you can do that with shed. That's how mine is. My shed's got 8 piers, and they got to go down below the frost line, and it helps to get them up out of the ground. And then the posts that support the beams, or you can actually put the beams right on the post. Simple as that. Yeah, timing chain. Yep. Timing chain, through their chain or their a belt. I think the belts are better because the chains, I don't know, the links can loosen up just ever so slightly over time and cause issues. But the Volvos all have belts, and it's very critical that they tell you, like, man, every 100,000 miles you got to change the belt, because if the belt breaks, it's over. The engine just kind of explodes because everything goes, all the timing's off, and you basically blow up the engine. A prop shaft, interesting. Yeah, chains are better. Okay. What you call a drive shaft, we call a prop shaft. Very interesting. But there's no propellers in a car. Doesn't make sense. All right. Once the piers are in, time to build the floor. Floor is simple, 16 inches on center. I insulate my floor in case I want to live in the shed. I put in 2 layers of 2-inch closed cell foam between the floor joists. All of this is on my website. Everything I'm talking about is on the website. Just type shed into the search engine. Then you build the walls. You're probably going to need a helper to stand them up. I like to frame my walls on the floor. I like to build them flat. I put the sheathing on while it's flat, easy to square it up. You don't need to have a science degree to square them up. When the two diagonals are the same, it's square. Um, oh, William. Wow. A guesstimate on the price for that 2-story shed right now. Things have gone up so much. I know what it cost when I built mine. The total material package was like 6,000. I'm going to say it could easily be $12,000 for materials right now. Easy. I mean, by the time you have all the piers, concrete, lumber, insulation, windows, the doors, roofing, skylights, it's got to be 12 grand. Got to be just a. Here's the cool thing. It's really easy to do a material takeoff. I thought maybe even it's been so long since I did the plans. I thought the plans have a material takeoff as part of it. I don't know, but it's easy to do one. Or I can tell you this, you can take my plans to your local lumber yard and they'll do the takeoff for free. They'll actually 2 or 3 days later, they'll say, okay, here's all the things you need for your shed. They'll do it for free. All right, Will. You need to replace the double doors in my shed. They are one sheet of particle board, Z from the inside. Okay, good. I can tell you what I do. See, Will, I hate those doors like that. I think they're stupid. They're hard. They leak. I always put an overhead door in my sheds. I know it sounds great. I just put a 6-foot wide overhead door. They're so much nicer. I mean, the big problem with those traditional doors is they always warp. If you open one up and you're not paying attention, it's a windy day, it blows. It's horrible. The big doors are horrible. So consider putting in a simple overhead door. Let's see. I'm going to call you Algo. Let's see if I think he said around 15 grand, which is, I don't know what that means. I must have missed something. Okay, so Steve said, on the first day of April, our energy bills went up. Whoa, 54%. Holy tomato. Hi, Louise. How you doing? Yes, exactly, Will. Just like a garage door. A lot of people don't know that overhead doors. Well, they come as narrow as 4 feet wide. You know, you'll see these some of them are commercial grade. They look ugly. They're on those, those remote storage things where you can rent like a storage unit. Those are overhead doors. They come very narrow, but 6 feet is awesome. I mean, you can easily get a riding tractor through it. They're just wonderful. They're so wonderful. Algo, it's oh, I see. I got it. Okay, thank you, Algo. Yeah, I was confused. Yeah, 6 foot wide, Will. They're amazing. 6 foot wide, 7 foot high. You could probably change the framing on the shed easily to accommodate it. If you decide to go that route, let me know and I'll tell you exactly how to frame that so it's right. Well, here's what it is. The rough framing of the opening needs to be 6 feet wide by 7 feet high. And then they come and put and then you can trim it out. I'll show you how to trim it out. And then they put the door in, and by the time they put the weather stripping on, all the gaps closed off. So exactly 6 feet wide, exactly 7 feet high from the bottom of the header to the floor. How do you prevent things from? You can't. That's a great question, Steve. Well, you can prevent it if you put heating in. If you want to heat the shed, things won't freeze. But generally, we put things in the shed here in America that it doesn't affect it. I mean, like for example, my daughter's motorcycle's in the shed in the wintertime. Um, I've got furniture we store up there. It doesn't really hurt the furniture. It'd be better if it wasn't going up and forth in temperature, but oh well, we can't fit it in the house. Um, and there's just other things in the shed that it doesn't hurt if they freeze. There's no paint or no liquid, things like that would freeze. Um, the I prefer fiber cement siding on the outside. I love fiber cement siding for sheds because it holds paint so well. I don't like wood. Wood will peel over time, guaranteed. Fiber cement, you're not going to have paint peeling ever. You can put asphalt shingles on it. I've got asphalt shingles on mine, although I do have enough of my DaVinci Roofscapes shingles that I could re-shingle my shed and put the DaVinci on it. But if I were to stay here, the only mistake I made building my own shed, I just was in a hurry. If I had it over to do again, I would have put 2 big dormers. My shed is actually 2 stories. You walk up steps to get to the second floor. It's just that it's a 12-12 pitch, and you can easily walk under the center of the thing. It's 8 feet high, but I would have put I should have put 2 big dormers in, front and back, and then you'd have a really usable room up there. It'd be easy to do now. I mean, I could, if I had a bug up my my arse, I could build a dormer there myself in about 2 weeks time. All right, but anyway, there's really nothing hard about it. Like small sheds, if you're going to build a really small little garden shed, really simple to do. So simple. And if you were serious about it, I offer phone coaching, meaning I can walk you through the hardest parts over the phone. But the roof framing is really pretty simple. A small shed, most people can handle. Here's what you don't want to do. I often go look. There's a place near my home that sells pre-built sheds, and they just bring them to your home, and they have this really interesting thing. It's a remote-controlled mule. It's almost like it's a very powerful 2-wheel truck. It's like a little 2-wheel forklift thing. Maybe it's a tricycle, and they can push a shed as long as there's pavement. They can push a shed into position. But most of these built sheds already, they've got these crappy floors built out of 4x4s. It's just 4x4 treated lumber with cheap, maybe treated plywood. But the floors are really flimsy. They're really flimsy. My recommendation would be, if you're going to buy one of these pre-built sheds with a crappy floor, you want to build a regular treated lumber undercarriage that they slide the shed onto. And if you want to know how to do that, I'll coach you that over the phone. My friend did it in Cincinnati. He just barely built it right, and they almost knocked the whole thing over. This shed was kind of hanging out over, like the back of the shed was in the air like 5 feet. So they built it on sloped ground, and the floor that they built, they didn't brace it correctly. And when they were sliding the shed onto it, they almost collapsed the floor. Crazy. So you have to know what you're doing if you're going to do that. Arse. Yeah, I know. That's what I knew you would like that if I said arse. Solar panels. Yeah, solar panels. Except Will, that's a great point though, Will. So let's imagine you were just using the shed for you weren't going to live in it. You just needed electric in there time to time. I mean, God only knows what you might spend for solar panels. And would the shed roof be big enough to have enough panels to actually supply the correct power? So this is a rhetorical question, how many thousands of dollars are you going to spend on solar panels just for this idiotic shed, when, assuming that the shed is not like mine, where it's hard to go into a driveway, where you could probably extend 220 service to the shed for like $250. I mean, $250. You can buy the conduit, the wire, I don't know, say $400, and you have a little sub panel and the shed. You have all the electric you ever need. So in other words, I would just extend electric from the house to the shed. So anyway, tomatoes. Look at the size of this thing. That's got to be 14 inches high now. I got to move them downstairs if they're getting too big for the window here. I got 4 of these plants in the window. Look at the size. I planted it from seed on March 1st, and look at it now, April 7th. That's tomatoes, buddy. We're going to have some tomatoes. I'm bringing them to the flipping golf game. I've got that Miracle Grow tomato food. I mix it up in kind of a dilute concentration. So every time I water them, they're getting fertilized. So look at those things. It's April 7th, man. I mean, by the end of April, that thing's going to be 2 feet high. Let me measure what it is now. That thing's 12 inches tall. It's crazy. Just last week, remember, it was 8 inches tall. I was thinking about, if I have a lot of tomatoes come in towards the end of the summer, I was thinking about putting a sign down at the end of the dock, and just because up here, I don't know if it's like where Will lives. We have a lot of people, a lot of homeowners make little side money. They sell these little bundles of firewood. They call it camp wood for like $4, $5 a bundle. And it's all an honor system. They have like a little can. People put their money in and they take the wood. All right. I'm sure at some point people steal the money. But down at the end of my dock, I was thinking about, just as a joke, to put bags of tomatoes and, beautiful tomatoes in brown paper bags, and have a little can down there and sell the tomatoes, All right, 17 shadowing, 9 likes. Thank you. Yeah, let's get some more like buttons going. Go some Rastafarian tobacco. I don't know. I probably could. There's a spot on my lot here, Steve B. There's one part of my yard that gets sun like almost all day. It's amazing. I'm sure tobacco would grow really well there. Definitely, I own 90 acres. And it's got a oh my gosh, it's got a field that's right there, gets sun all day long. I don't know, it's a meadow that's at least 4 or 5 acres. So I could grow a lot of tobacco. And it's zoned agricultural. So I could, it's just a matter of having the equipment to do it, So anyway, any question? If you got any questions about shed building, now's the time to put it in. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Marijuana. It might be legal to grow that here in New Hampshire now. I don't know. I think it's legal to grow it in Maine. You just got to get I don't care about my HOA. They can bite me. You know what I'm doing the first day? You know what I'm doing Memorial Day weekend? That's like the big day. Everybody's up here. Everybody's happy. It's summertime. As long as it's halfway decent weather. I looked up the law and everything else. I'm going down to the beach early in the morning to camp out, to get a flipping table. And I'm going down there with I bought a brand new Magpul. I don't know. I can't even think of it. For my AR-15, a sling. All right. I'm going down there with my flipping AR-15. And I guarantee you, here's what's going to happen. There's going to be people, my neighbors who know me, they're going to come up to me, because their kids are going to be down there. And they're going to go, what are you doing? What is that real? What? Yeah, my kids are scared. What's wrong with you? Why do you have that here? And my response is going to be, here's what I'm going to do, by the way. As soon as somebody comes up and starts talking, I'm going to go like this. Go, stop. I'm going to grab my phone. I'm going to turn on the camera, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to hold the camera up just like that and start videotaping. Go, what do you want? Just videotape the whole conversation. But then when they ask me, why would I bring that thing here? I'm going to go, well, didn't you hear what happened over the winter? we we voted on this amendment to restrict zoning or to restrict renting because we've had trouble at the beach here. Renters, these rental people evidently have overrun the flippin' beach and caused all kinds of havoc and mayhem. So I don't know about you. I'm ready. I'm ready for the flippin' renters. That's what I'm going to do. You need to get, here's what I'm going to say. You need to get out of here. I'm going to go get out of my face right now. And actually what I'm going to say, I've already rehearsed what I'm going to say. I think that I'm the last person on this speech that you should be aggravating. Don't you? Don't you? And then hold up the gun. I'm the last person that you should be aggravating on a speech. And then go back to reading my book. I know, pedophilia. So I'm gonna create some mayhem of my own this summer here. But anyway, checked into the law. Totally legal. It is here in New Hampshire, totally legal for me to open carry. I mean, I'm not allowed to point it at people, but I'm totally allowed to just have my AR-15 loaded, ready to go with me, no problems. None. I am so angry at these people here. The measure, get this, that whole issue passed by only 2 votes. We got an email today that they recorded this stupid bylaw change. So it's effective immediately today. 41 votes. It took 40 votes minimum to pass it. We just missed. If I could have just convinced 2 other people that I was right, we would have won. Yeah, I know I'm going to do it. And like I said, this is going to bother them right away. I'm just going to hold this up and say, keep talking. Go ahead. Keep talking. I don't know that he really said it. What did Admiral Yamamoto say in World War II? I'm afraid we've awoken a sleeping giant. Yeah, I may show mine one day on. I may just have it in the background for a slight amount of time. Yeah, you know what? I'll do that. I'll actually, Steve, I'll take a picture of mine because I'll email you a photo of it. It's not that big. I don't know. I mean, I've got all kinds of long guns, man. I've right around the other side of that door. I'm trying to get into collecting World War II guns. I've got a beautiful, although it's not a German Mauser, it was made right at the end of World War II. It's I think it's a Yugoslavian one. I don't know, but all matching numbers, beautiful condition. I mean, it's an 8mm Mauser. It's what the German infantry carried. Beautiful, beautiful rifle. Oh my gosh. I may take that down there too. So, but yeah, I've got an AR-15. It's kind of a neat gun. Shoots really small round, you know. It just shoots what we call a 223, which is a 22, and but it's high velocity. But it's a very tiny round, really tiny, but it's loud. Ooh, man. No wonder all these soldiers have lost their hearing. All right. Any other questions about sheds? Happy to answer them. We don't have to talk about Mausers and things like that. But there's an old saying here in America, Steve. I don't know if you have it over there, but we have a saying called "Revenge is a dish best served cold." So I'm going to serve up a big, heaping, cold plate of revenge. If they thought they had problems at the beach last summer, seriously, they thought it's like be careful what you wish for. I told people this. I said, stop, don't do this, blah 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 blah. I said it's not going to solve the problem. It is not going to solve the problem, and I'm going to prove to them it's not going to solve the problem because every Saturday this summer, I'm going down to the beach with that thing. I am. And if somebody says, well, you're scaring my children. Oh, well, maybe you should take your children home. Go away from me. It's exactly what I'm going to say. If your children are scared, maybe they should go home. It's like, be careful what you wish for, you idiots. No Speedo. No Speedo. I could get away with that when I was 17, but not now. Yeah, Lugers. All right. If you have any questions about sheds, you might be here because you want to build a shed. I need to know what you want to know. You need to put your question in the chat. I'll bring you up to speed on some other things too while I'm at it, while I'm waiting for your questions. Yeah. Okay, what do they do on the beach? Well, in the HOA, I live in a homeowners association, and we have a beautiful beach. It's about, I don't know, it's maybe 250 feet long. It's got an incredible view. I mean, it's a fantastic beach. We've got picnic tables with umbrellas, a big lawn, grassy area. I mean, it's a wonderful place to spend the day. And you have to understand there are 60 lots in my HOA, 60 building lots, but I think there's only 12 houses that are on the lake. I'm one of the 12 houses. If that number is right, that means 48 people do not have lakefront property. And the homeowners association was built around them being able to enjoy the lake on this beach of ours that we own. It's a private beach. And believe me, every weekend that there's nice weather, it's crowded. And there's lots of kids. Whatever. I don't care. I'm just going to tell them, well, you passed this crazy law, and I told you that, it's got unintended consequences, and you talked about this one, and besides, you told me, I mean, there's all kinds of ways to handle it. You could say, I never really came down to the beach before, but I live here in Waldron Bay, and you told me all winter long that we had problems at the beach, that we had problems with renters. Well, by God, I'm here now. You know what? I'm here. Bring it on. Bring the trouble on. I'm ready for them. I'm ready. What are they going to say to that? Like, you idiots. Bunch of flippin' idiots. All right. I had something happen earlier in the week. I had a subscriber of mine to the newsletter. He was looking for something. He complained. He said that there's just too many flipping ads on your website. And I was saying, well, but you get the content for free. Oh, too many ads. He said, here's what his answer was. I said, well, what would you do if you were me? You're not going to believe this. This is exactly what his answer was. He said, he came back about 10 minutes later and said, go out and sell some sponsorships. LOL. And so I replied, I said, oh, so you want me to take the ads off the website that I have now, go out and sell sponsorships, and then put the ads of the sponsors that I just sold on the website? Is that what you want? And then I followed that up. I said, tell me, I said, if you don't like the ads, what would you pay a very small monthly fee to have an ad-free website? He responds back immediately in giant capital letters, I'd pay $0. And he goes, I'm done with you. I'm unsubscribing. It's just like this guy went off the flipping rails. It's like, what is wrong with you? So then I'll just finish up real quickly. I started it at the beginning of the stream. I said I spent some time because I know I'm going to do this. I'm just trying to figure out the best mechanism, but I'm going to put most of the content on my website behind a paywall. And I've been researching my competitors. If you go to Family Handyman, which is probably my biggest competitor, I was stunned at what their here. I don't mind promoting this because I want to show you how crazy it is. Here, I had this up on my screen to show Kathy. So here I'm selling product. I'm selling how-to instructions for $4, $5, maybe $7. Look at this. Look at that. Look at this is one of their how-to products. $12 to learn how to paint a flipping door. Are you serious? And they've got hundreds of these, hundreds and hundreds of things like this. So, and I'll research next week my other competitor, Fine Home Building. I already know they sell all kinds of stuff. I mean, if you, for example, if you want any of the past issues, you're paying for it. You're paying for on a per column basis. I forget what it is. You might pay $4 or $5 for a column in an old magazine. Lorene's here. Look at that. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, young lady. How's Ella doing? That's I'll say, how is Ella doing? How is Ella? Anyway, here's what happened this morning. So this morning, I put this page up on the website. I'm trying to find it here. Hold on a second. I did a quick survey about top loading washing machines. Here it is. Trying to get the URL for you. Here we go. This just goes to show you what kind of people that I have to deal with. I mean, it's enough to make you want to fold the tent up and go away. So wow, multiple fractures and a dislocate. Holy tomato. Ella's having a tough week. I would say so. Wow. So anyway, this link I just put in. I started this survey at about I don't know, 10 o'clock would be my guess. And as of right now, there's been 230 responses. It looks like, which is not bad. It may get up to 500. But just to show you there's some people out there that are so unhappy. They must be miserable every day. So miserable, because one of the people responded back on question number 3. His response was, what could a builder, and the word builder was in capital letters, so that's passive aggressive. What could a builder know about testing a washing machine? You know, just crazy people, just crazy people. All I can tell you is, like this Sunday in the newsletter, people are going to be pretty unhappy. They're going to be pretty unhappy. We'll see. I've had a really big week, so busy. My consult calls, the 15-minute coaching calls, I did 3 of them today. I think I did 3 or 4 yesterday. I had a really interesting one yesterday. A gentleman, he lives up in where does he live? Oh, I can't remember where he lives now. I think it was up near Chicago. And his water, he's on city water. All right, think about this. And his water bill, let's see, 4,500. Yeah, his water bill said he was using 15,000. Is that right? 15,000 gallons a month. Let me see, because 150. 15 40. Right. We did a quick calculation, he and I, and he had also done some online research. And the average person, or the average house, like 2 people in a house would maybe use 150 gallons of water a day. And his water bill says that, so that would be 4,500 gallons a month, approximately. His water bill says he's using between 15,000 and 20,000 gallons. He was like, no way. Well, then he comes to tell me that up until a few weeks ago, he had just turned it off, is that he had a humidifier that was connected to his furnace, and that the water, it had one of those 1/4-inch tubes, water was running continuously. Because I guess his wife needs the humidity. She's got a health issue. And he said, I just can't believe that would be the problem. And I said, oh, he thought there was a water leak. And I said, well, he thought there was a water leak, in the line coming to the house because there were stains on his driveway. And I just said, well, where's your water meter at? And he goes, well, I said, is the water meter out in the yard by the street, which is in a lot of houses it is, or is it inside? He said, oh, the meter's inside. I said, well, if there was a leak outside, it would not even, you're not getting charged for that water. That leak is not getting metered. And the guy went, oh, I never thought about that. And then I told him, I said, look, that humidifier could easily be using that much water. He said, what? I said, I'm telling you what. I said, go over to your kitchen faucet and turn your kitchen faucet on and have a small stream of water come out of the faucet. That's only about 1/8 of an inch wide. That's all you need. Maybe a little bit bigger, but no more than that. No, not a bunch of rushing water. I said, put a gallon container under it and time how long it takes for that little 1/8 inch stream of water to fill a gallon up. And then I said, do the math to see how much that is a day. I said, you're going to be stunned. So really interesting phone call. All right. I get a lot of these really interesting ones. Today I did one. A guy in Nebraska wants to move a house 300 feet. So he wanted to know all about moving houses. Let's see here. Let me get caught up. Not sure the cost yet, but have to replace the shed ramp and look into the composite boards. Well, composite boards are going to take your flipping breath away. Pressure treated 2x6s rot out in 2+ years. Well, maybe you're using the wrong 2x6s, Commander. I have pressure. I'll take a photo, Will, of mine. I have actually you can see it online. I have a pressure treated ramp on my shed. I built it out of pressure treated 4x4s and pressure treated plywood. It's been in place 7-8 years. Looks like the day it was put in. So the composite is going to take your breath away. This was a year or two ago before inflation kicked in. One 16-foot long, 5.5-inch wide piece of Trex Transcend 2 years ago or 3 years ago was $64. Whew, that's crazy. It's got to be $80 or $90 now. I mean, you should be able to. Will, we can do that. We can do that ramp in treated plywood, a piece of 3/4-inch treated plywood. Yeah. When that was, and the price I'm giving Lorene is Trex Transcend, which is like the Lexus of composites. There's cheaper composites, that's for sure. But think about that, $30 a board. So anyway, Will, you need to talk to me about, Trex has got several different levels, Anyway, go get a piece of treated plywood, all right, 3/4-inch thick, and we can talk about it. Yeah, I don't know. I just know that there's Trex, I think, has got two levels, and the Transcend, at least when I got it, was the top of the line. But the Trex Transcend I got for my deck, I actually got it for all the decks. $30,000. It's crazy. $30,000. But that includes all the handrail and everything too, the whole system. A house just 4 houses away from me on the listed now for $2 million. It's here in the neighborhood, we call it the driveway of death. The driveway is like a 20% grade all the way down, and it's got a slight tilt towards the lake. So if it's icy, you're crashing off the driveway, not into the lake, but into these trees. Whoever built the driveway was dumber than a box of rocks. Dumber than a box of rocks. Hello, Bob. I don't think you're going to find any scrap pieces of composite. I'm just telling you, Will, before you do anything, you got to talk to me. Send me a photo. I'll send you a photo of my ramp. I'm looking right at it right now. Treated plywood, Commander. I'm telling you. I mean, I put a coat of sealer on it. That sealer that I'm going to tell everybody about. Well, they're going to pay to get the name, but you don't have to pay. You and Lorene, you don't have to pay. Steve doesn't have to pay. But anyway, even before I sealed it, it did fine for 5 years without being sealed. Vanessa, hello. Great that you're here. If you are here and you've not checked in, you probably should check in. And the reason why is, I don't know if you saw the news report, but there was a survey on YouTube, and 78% of the people on YouTube who took the survey said that they hate lurkers. I mean, for all I know, Jason could be here. I mean, you notice? Has anybody seen Jason check in? I mean, he's the king of lurkers. He's got a PhD in it. My treated lumber ramp is 1 inch off the ground at the bottom. I'm gonna help you. You're gonna send. Here's all I need you to do. I want you to go out and take 2 or 3 photos. Stand back from the ramp or the shed so I can see the shed, see the ramp, and see the ground in front of the ramp. Then I want you to step away and go 90 degrees and take a side view photo of the ramp, of the existing ramp. Send me those photos. Those 2. I just need 2 photos. And I'm gonna then draw something up for you and show you exactly what to do. And your new ramp is going to last 20 or 30 years, no problem. No, I just have my 4x4s. I have my plywood is supported by 4 4x4s, and the 4x4s, I created a trench that is 6 inches deep by 4 inches wide. That's filled with crushed rock, that are about the size of white grapes. All right, I do not let it sit on the soil. All right, that's important. All right, so it drains really well, and remember, the 4x4s are rated for ground contact. They're allowed to sit on the ground. I have a feeling you've been buying the wrong treated lumber. You've been buying treated lumber that was not rated for ground contact. A lot of people don't know this stuff. It just that, there's an old saying, you don't know what you don't know. All right. I don't know. I don't know so much about the military. I don't know squat about the military. Vanessa, she knows all about the military. Lorene, Lorene knows all about the inner workings of like government and stuff, man. I mean, come on. Everybody's got their own talents, which is a good thing. I mean, we need you. That's what makes the world go round. So if you've not checked in, you really need to check in because, like I just said, big survey on YouTube. I mean, it made it on YouTube Daily, the YouTube Daily podcast, I think. 72% of the people on YouTube hate lurkers. All right. So it's not cool to be a lurker. All you have to do is just say hi. Just check in and say hi. And that's all you got to do. And then if you want to be cool, just list, say hi, and list one of your superpowers. Like, what are you really good at? What are you good at? I want to know what you're good at. D5X. I'm going to call you X5. Actually, I think I'm going to call you the X-Man. I like the X-Man. X-Man. Any good options for refinishing wood floors while still living in the house? No. It's, I'm sorry. It can't be done. I'm just being honest. I mean, you can, water-based urethane will dry tack-free depending on the humidity outside or inside in maybe 2 hours. So it's if you want to get the best looking floors, you've got to be out of the house for 3 or 4 days. I'm just being honest. There's bad options. I mean, there are bad options for refinishing floors while you're in the home, but no good options. Thanks for the honest answer. Our neighbors did that. They moved to a hotel. Yeah, exactly. There's, is there like, can you send the wife and kids away, X-Man? Can you send them away to go visit a relative for 3 or 4 or 5 days? Can you like if it was me, I would send the wife and kids away to one of their brothers or sisters, get them the hell out of the way. And then I would do it in the summertime and I'd be in a tent out in the flipping yard. I mean, I'm just telling you, that's the way to do it. All right. All right. Oh, so here I've got a little treat for you. I think I've told you, I do in the morning. I have a Morse code student. I need to cut him off because he's good. He's good. And he doesn't need to do it every day anymore. He's as good as I am. And the secret message he sent me today, see what we do. I'll tell you this real quickly. So the training is, the way to train somebody in Morse code, at least the way I feel, and this is how I was taught by my mentor, is you send a short 5-word secret message each day. So in other words, my student has no idea what I'm going to send. And that makes you really pay attention and think, and sometimes I could send it in Latin. Sometimes I'll send 5 words that don't even mean anything to one another. Like I could send bird, cold, blacktop, run, gravy. All right. So that's 5 different words. So today he sends me, I heard it through the grapevine. All right. And it's because he had, he must have watched this movie with his wife. I forgot. I had seen this movie years ago when it came out. Fantastic movie. It's got the best 4-minute open. Like, in other words, the open of the movie could be the best open to any movie I've ever seen. You might agree. If you've not watched this open of this movie, you need to watch it. And it's really powerful. It's really a great job. I mean, the writer was the director. He did an incredible job. Incredible job. I'm going to tell Kathy tonight, hey, we need to rent this movie and watch it. Steve's got great questions. Steve's, that's a great question. Here I'm going to draw. Will, where's the flipping whiteboard? Idiot. No whiteboard, man. But I'm going to make a really neat drawing for you, Steve. All right. I got to do something else. I got to use these markers. If we had a whiteboard, it'd be so much better because then there wouldn't be these stupid blue lines in the way, right, Will? All right, so no comments about this. No. This is a piece of hardwood flooring and this is the tongue. and right here would be the mirror image of the groove of the next piece over. So Steve's question is, how many times can you sand it? So here's the top of the board. The bottom of milled flooring always has these lines underneath it so that it prevents the wood from cupping. But this is the end. This dash line in purple. Once you get to here, you're done. You can no longer sand it. It's over. But in between here and here is about 3/8 of an inch, because this is 3/4 of an inch thick total. I'm sorry, it's not 3/8. From here to here is probably 5/16 of an inch, because the whole thing is 3/4, and the tongue is probably 1/8 of an inch, just a little over 1/8. Anyway, so these goldenrod lines measure different sanding events, and it just depends on how aggressive you have to sand it. But I'm going to tell you how to do it so that you never own it. You only have to sand it one time. So I'm just going to say maybe you could get by with 4 sandings, and then it's over. So what's the thing to do? This is the mistake most people make with hardwood floors. Understand that the urethane is the wear layer. In other words, you're not walking on the wood, you're walking on the urethane. So what you should be doing is so that you prevent having to sand the floor before you wear through the urethane. You need to just put another coat of urethane on, or 2 coats. And that's a do-it-yourself job. You don't have to hire that out. As long as you don't have to sand the floor, all you have to do is get all the furniture out of the way, get a pole sander that and put some sandpaper on it, lightly sand it, like maybe 220 grit paper. Of course, clean the floor first. Clean the floor, soap and water, and then sand it with a pole sander. You don't have to sand a lot. You're just trying to rough up the urethane a little bit. Then you come back in with a vacuum. You vacuum all the dust up, and then you wipe the entire floor down with mineral spirits. Make sure it's really well ventilated, or you're going to flipping pass out. So you wipe the floor down with mineral spirits, and whatever rag you used, that's got to go outside, and you set it on fire outside right away. But wash your hands before you do. If you've got any mineral spirits in your hand or arms, it soaks into your skin. You can catch your skin on fire. All right. So I'm just saying, don't store that stupid rag. Spontaneous combustion. Boom. You're going to burn your house down. Now the floor is ready to go. And you just put a coat of urethane on, let it dry, then put a second coat on. So if you do that every 3 or 4 years, you never have to sand the floor. A little known trick. Most people just let it go too far. Whiteboard. Lorraine's giving me crap about flipping whiteboard. The mailman must have kept it for his kids. Yeah, I did. I ordered one. It's not arrived yet. So there. No, I'm not saving the pages. I'm not. I just pitch them. They're out of here. I put them in my septic tank. I'll just say this real quick update. I can't remember the name of the company. So months ago, I got contacted by a company that came up with this new flushable wipe. The PR woman doing her job. She was doing a good job. All right. She sent me a free pack, and I started to test them. They work really well. Of course, I would never flush them down the toilet because I did a video about it. And so she got back to me about 3 weeks ago. Hey, how's the testing going? And I said to her, well, the testing's going really good. I said, I actually use the wipes, and they're very good. They don't tear, and they really do a good job. All right. And I said, but I've got some questions. I said, on your labeling, it says that the wipes are safe to use in well-maintained sewer systems and septic systems. And I said, can you provide me with the testing data of how you tested these things for septic tanks? And to make a long story short, without boring without details, the answer is no. No, we don't have that data. Really? I said, she said, but you can talk to such and such at the company. I go, I don't need to talk to what's his name. I said, I just need the flipping data. I said, how can you put How can you put it on the packaging that it's safe when you haven't tested it? And 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 um and she said, well, what happens is that the wipes, and here's what I did do. So here's what I did on my own. I started to test 3 weeks ago. I took one of the wipes. I had a clear bowl of water. I got photos. I can share these photos in the newsletter. I may tell the story this Sunday. Um, I put a wipe in, just not a used one. Okay, that'd be pretty gross. And and it just floated for a while, and then it settled to the bottom of the bowl, and it just sat there. And it did not at all start to decompose. Did not. It sat there for 2 weeks and looked the same. And so she said, well, what happens is the wipes will settle to the bottom of the tank, and they just become part of the sludge. Well, the trouble is, depending on how many you use, you could build up really quickly. And so then that breaks back to their definition. So in your mind, what does well maintained mean? Does that mean you have to pump your flipping tank once a year? Because typically you pump it once every 3 years. The point I'm just trying to make is that you've got to stop paying attention. You've got to stop trusting what's on the label of these products. I guess that's what I want to say. Stop trusting the label. Start using critical thinking skills and push back and ask questions. And that question is really simple. Okay, fine. I've got a septic system. You say it's safe. Prove to me that it's safe. And she sent me this video that they had this testing lab do, showing that how they took the wipes, put them into little pieces, like, I don't know, like this by this. And then they put it in a chemical, like in a chemistry lab, the flask, what a flask is, an Erlenmeyer flask, it's kind of triangular shaped. And they had gone to a sewage treatment plant nearby, and they got some of the sewage water. So it's got bacteria in it and all the fecal matter, but it's all this brown water. And they put it in flask. And then the next thing they show in the video is that they're shaking the flask on the shake table. And I had told her in a previous email, I said, listen, I said, I don't doubt that your wipes fall apart as they travel in a sewer line because of the turbidity of the water. I get that. I get it. I got it. All right. I believe that they do that. I know that they fall apart really easily. I said, but once the wipe gets to the septic tank, that's it. There is no more turbidity. I said, I don't know if you've ever looked inside a septic tank, which I know she hasn't. She's just a Twinkie that works at a public relations firm. I said, I happen to be a master plumber. I said, the water doesn't move in the septic tanks. It's just like, it just stands still. So nothing's going to break apart your wipe. So anyway, that's my week. Been kind of a rough week, man. I got a lot of haters on my list. I can tell you that. Got a lot of haters. I had a guy here. I'm going to read this email to you. This is kind of interesting. Let me read this one quick email. This is a really interesting email that I got the other day to show you the level of propaganda and I'm trying to find this guy's hold on, I'm trying to find it. Oh, I know what I can do. I'm such an idiot. Just a second. Here we go. I'll have it here. If Gmail does its job, man, I'm going to have it. Here we go. Here we go. You're going to love this. So it says this. First of all, you need to know the guy's age. I always ask people they have to tell me what their age is when they send me a question. It's really important for a number of reasons. This guy he's my age. He's between 65 and 70. And I put a thing extra crispy. Anybody over 75, I call as a burnt cinder. If you've not gone to my Ask Tim page to fill out a question, you need to go there just to get a laugh. I'm telling you. So this guy is named Rick. I won't tell you what his last name is. I won't tell you where he lives. I want to protect the guilty. He goes, I read through your discussion of heating types, including heat pumps. Your comment on how electricity is unreliable, while it may be true, creates the same issue with heat pumps as it will with your in-floor heat, i.e. dead in the water without electricity. Yeah, except I got a standby generator, idiot. I said that in the column, so I make my own flipping electricity. So bite me. And then now that's my editorial. Now he lectures me. He goes, folks like you need to be looking at and recommend solutions that are renewable, sustainable, and fossil free. If we, our children, and our children's children are ever going to manage to have a planet worth living on in the future, please help us. Rick, bite me. So here's my response. Can you believe that email? The guy has no clue how flipping. He doesn't. So I go, Rick, thanks for reaching out. I'm doing my best to help millions by sharing information that's being withheld from you. Check this out. And I say, have you ever had to give a sworn deposition or been a witness on a witness stand in a courtroom? I have countless times, as I've been an expert witness for the past 25 years. And I go, do you know what we swear? Quote, I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Do you know why judges and juries and people like you and me need the whole truth? Sure you do. So you can make the right choice. You know that a half truth is a whole lie, especially if you raise kids as I did. Boy, are they good at telling just part of the truth, right? That said, do you think you and millions of others have been getting the whole truth about climate change? My college degree is in geology with a focus on, of all things, continental glaciation. I'm this micro subset, razor thin, paper thin, of people in the world that have a much larger perspective of what's going on. And then I go, are you willing to look at something with an open mind, thinking that you could discover something new? I already know what the answer is. He's at that point, I've already lost me. He's like, screw you. I'm not looking at anything. And so I give him a link to I'll give it to you. I give him this link to my climate change article. And I said, I'm happy to have a respectful discussion about this, because if you're basing your thoughts on the demise of the planet on what you hear on TV and on mainstream media websites, you're maybe getting a smidgen of the truth. And that was it. Of course, I never heard back from him. Never do. Never hear back from these people. So if you want to know how badly you've been lied to about climate change, then you need to go here. If you're still on here and you're one of these people like Rick, who's like terrified that the planet is being ruined, I'm telling you right now, if you go to that link, if you go to that link and you read it, you are not going to believe it. You're going to go, here's what your reaction should be. Your reaction should just be this. After you read it, you'll go, what the hell? How come I have never heard about any of this on the news? Oh, that's because you're not getting all the truth. BC, burnt cinder. No, you're extra crispy. I think you're extra crispy. I don't know. Maybe you are. Maybe you are burnt cinder. If you're over 75, you could. It's toast. You're done. Okay, here's what's new. You can't see it, because it's right here. I'm looking right at it. My new LG monitor. Right after the stream's over, I'm powering it up. I've got it connected to my new Mac Mini, my new computer. The Mac Mini, it's just like a paperback book, but kind of square. Really cool computer, man. It's I can't believe how small it is. 2 terabyte, a solid state drive, 16 gig of memory. Because the machine I'm on right now that I'm looking at you at, 14-year-old technology. I can't believe how old this computer is. But man, I'm going to start the transfer of all the data from my backup drive into that thing. So tomorrow morning, I should be on that new machine. Now, the trouble is that dumb machine doesn't have a camera. So until such time, I'm going to have to use 2 computers and still use this one to live stream on. But anyway, you should see that monitor. It's just flipping amazing. It's got this slight curve to it. It's like 34 inches wide. It's an amazing monitor. It's this LG monitor. All right. So any other questions about anything? If you have any questions about climate change? I mean, serious. We can have this really quick, respectful discussion. Let me ask this question, and I'm not going to get into an argument with you. We've got 16 people watching right now. Well, 15. We just lost one. 15 people. Are you a person that believes in that we're all going to die? Like AOC said, we're all going to die in 12 years. I mean, and that's extreme. That within the next few years, the ocean levels are going to rise and all these bad things are going to happen. I mean, just be honest. I mean, it's okay if you say yes, it's okay, because I'm going to help you out. So just answer, just go ahead and say yes. But odds are you're not going to want to do it. Odds are you know what happens as you get older, right? So as you get older, typically, not everybody, but typically a person's ego gets weaker. And they not everybody, some people, like I've got some subscribers that are flipping ornery as honey badgers. All right. But anyway, so as a result, they just don't want to get into a confrontation. But if you are a person, if you're a person that kind of believes everything's going to go south, that we're in deep trouble, that we're ruining the planet, just say yes, I'm one. It's okay. So I'll just ask with you. If you're a person that thinks no, then go ahead and answer no. I mean, actually, I'll do it this way. What am I talking about? I'll do it the easy way. I'll do it so it's I don't know why I wasn't thinking this. Stop. Don't answer anymore. We're going to do it anonymously. Maybe. All right. All right. So go ahead and fill this out. Take the poll. Take the poll. So just go ahead and take the poll. And that I just so you know, when you take the poll, I cannot see who you are. It's all anonymous. It's all anonymous. All right. So you know, you got nothing to be worried about. I'm not going to make fun of you. Nothing like that at all. Take the poll. Come on. Got to get a lot more people taking the poll. Come on. We lost a lot of people. So there were like 15, 16 people here. I pissed them off. I don't care. I don't care. I'm trying to wake people up. That's my job. I'm trying to wake people up. And here's the cool thing about this, what you might discover here in just a few minutes. See, this is where you can have a really respectful discussion, because I'm going to offer up proof. I'm going to offer up stuff that's undeniable. You can't deny what I'm going to tell you. You cannot deny it. And then it becomes your job to say, well, here's how I can explain that happened. Okay. All right. Then that's going to be your job. You're going to have to explain that. So Lorene says, I've been fascinated by the studies done on geologic matter showing how climate has always changed over time. Yes. Lorraine says the lithium mines are terrible. Yes, yes, yes. John, hell no. Thank you, John. All right, so kind of interesting so far. 50-50. All right, 50-50. I'm trying to, let's see if I can see how many people have taken it. We've only got 11 people here. I'm trying to see. I don't know how. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Well, we've got 50% that said no, 38% said yes, 12% maybe. Okay, that's a good spread. That's a really good 8 votes. 8 people voted. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so that's a really good spread. That's good. All right, so here's the bottom line. I put that link up here. I'll put it in again. You need to go to this page of my website. And here's what you need to understand. This is really cool, because actually what's really fascinating is in that page on my website, I linked to an article that's on the New York Times website. All right, New York Times. And it's an article that they did, I forget how many years ago, 5-6 years ago, talking all about the continental glaciation in New York City. You can go to Central Park. There's glacial striations on the bedrock, the exposed bedrock in Central Park. You have to understand there was a glacier thousands of feet high on New York City. It was there just 15,000 years ago. All right, so here is here's the truth. This is the truth. All right. 15,000 years ago, which you may think is a long time. You may go, oh my God, that's a long time. In geologic time, it's nothing. All right. That's like a blink of an eye. So 15,000 years ago, we were at the glacial, what we call the glacial maximum of the last ice age, the last period of continental glaciation. You have to understand that there was a glacier, maybe 2, 3, 4,000 feet thick, that extended all the way from the North Pole, covering all of Canada, covered basically all of New England, the entire state, all of Maine, all of New Hampshire, all of Vermont, probably all of Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, all covered in ice, all. And the ice extended out into what is now the Atlantic Ocean, probably out to the continental shelf, because you have to understand that when all this ice was there, that the oceans were 400 feet shallower than they are now. 400 feet. 400 feet, all right? Because all of that water from the ocean was tied up in the ice. This period of continental glaciation created so much water, it created Lake Bonneville. I talked about this back in December. Go back to one of my live streams. Where the Salt Lake is now, there was a lake, this huge lake. Salt Lake City was under 1,000 feet of water. It was 1,200 feet deep of water. All right. So then what happened? Something happened. We don't know what happened, but we think we know what happened. We think that what happened is that the Earth's orbit, or the axis of the Earth, changes just a very little bit. And it's just enough to cause the Earth to heat up. And then if it tilts the other way, it's enough to make it get cold. All right. Understand this. Just stop and think about this. This is where critical thinking comes in. 15,000 years ago, there were no factories. There were no buses. There were no semi-tractor trailers belching diesel fumes. There was nothing. There were a few guys and a few women wearing like furs from wolves, having a few little tiny campfires around, a few little campfires. That's it. That was it. All right. So the rhetorical question is, what in the hell happened that caused all of that ice to melt? All of it melted. And it melted in about 7,000 years. So if you do the math, like, okay, so here's ice all the way down. It stopped at New York City, and it's got to go all the way back up to the North Pole. And it does that on average. How much does the ice retreat per year? You do the math and you come out to about a quarter of a mile. A quarter of a mile of retreat. So every year it's a quarter mile closer to the North Pole. So right now, right on the top photograph on that page that I sent you to, it's right, the link's right there, is the Athabasca Glacier. I've been there. I've walked on it. The Athabasca Glacier is one of the glaciers that what I call the tree huggers, the people who believe in, like if you're one of the 40%, you're a believer, you think we're messing up the planet. So your crowd, your tribe points to that glacier and says, look, the Athabasca Glacier is melting. It's going to be gone soon. The Athabasca Glacier is only a couple of 100 feet thick, It's only maybe a half mile wide. Try to get your head around this. I'm talking about an ice sheet 3,000 or 4,000 feet thick. That's thousands of miles wide. And let's see, the Earth is what, 24,000 miles in diameter, right? So 1/4 of that would be 8,000 miles. So it was about 4,000 miles. It's about 4,000 miles from New York City up to the North Pole. All right. Do you understand that? In other words, we're not even comparing the same thing. And that ice sheet was retreating, this giant, thick, 3,000 feet thick, 4,000 miles long, retreating at a quarter of a mile a year. And you may think, well, God, that's hardly anything. The Athabasca Glacier, that's your tribe is telling you it's pure prima facie evidence that we are ruining the planet. Prima facie evidence. In the past 100 years, the Athabasca Glacier has not even retreated a mile. And it's only a couple of 100 feet thick, and it's only about a half mile wide. That's a fact. Those are facts. You cannot. These are undeniable facts. Now it gets worse. All right. So first of all, I just want to tell you, you're being played. If you're one of the people that said yes, you're being played. They're playing you like a fiddle. All right. Because the reason they're playing you is they're trying to get you to say it's okay to be taxed so that they can take all that money for themselves, because that's what's happening. All right. Now, this whole continental glaciation thing gets a lot worse, because this is where it helps to be a geologist. And this is information that's being withheld from you. And it's all provable. You can go back. It's all in the books. This is undeniable information I'm telling you. It's not speculation. What I'm going to tell you right now is true. You can go look it up. In the past 2 million years, which you may think, wow, that's a long time. Well, it's kind of long. In the past 2 million years in North America, we've had 4 periods of continental glaciation, just like I described. The second last one, get this, where I lived, I came from Cincinnati, Ohio. The second last period of glaciation was so enormous, it changed the course of the Ohio River. I mean, the Ohio River is a big river. I mean, it's one of the primary feeder rivers of the Mississippi. You know, it's like the Missouri River. I mean, the Ohio River is a big flipping river. It changed the glacier chain. It completely came down, bulldozed where the Ohio River was, completely pushed the Ohio River south about 15 miles. I can take you and prove it to you. It did that 600,000 years ago. So 4 periods of continental glaciation in the past 2 million years. So here's the question. This is what you need to ask yourself. and what you just need to think about tonight or tomorrow. How much does the climate have to change? Think about this. How much does the climate have to change to create that much ice? In other words, how cold does the climate have to change to be able to create that enormous amount of ice? And then how much does it have to change to melt it all and do it 4 times when we weren't around? They're not telling you this. If they told you this week after week, if they told you what I just told you week after week, which I can prove, would you still vote yes? You are being played. So then your follow-up question should be, well, Tim, if they're lying to me about climate change, because, understand this. There's a saying in my business, in the expert witness business, and any trial attorney, if you know any attorneys, if you're a trial attorney, and you know what I'm going to tell you is true. It's a saying in the business. A half truth is a whole lie. That's a saying in the business. I mean, and you understand why, right? In other words, if you're on a witness stand and a person's being charged with murder, and if they are convicted, they're going to get the electric chair. And if you only tell half of the truth and you withhold some of the truth that's really important that the jury needs to know, you may cause that person to get killed. So you're basically lying. It's called a lie of omission. All right. That's what that means. A lie of omission means you're not telling the whole truth. So if your sources of news are lying to you about climate change, then you need to say to them, hey, listen, I found out today that you're lying to me about the climate change deal, man. This guy, Tim Carter, flipping geologist, he proved to me that man-made climate change is not real. Here's what you need to know. Just like I said, the first thing I say in my column, climate change is real. The climate's changing all the time. It's just that we don't have anything to do with it. Mother Nature laughs at us. She can do a much better job, as proven by the Athabasca Glacier. All right, so you just need to ask your media people, your sources, like, hey, you're freaking lying to me about climate change. What else are you lying to me about? Have you been lying to me about the illness? Have you been lying to me about the past 2 years? I'll answer that. Yes, been lied to. All right, enough. So I'm going to end the poll. But if you're one of the 38%, I see it's 38% or 36% now. If you're one of the 36% of the people that you believe in man-made climate change, you're being played. Go to that link here. I'm going to put it in one last time. Go to this link and read what I've got there. And all you have to do is just your job. If you go, no, you go, nope, Tim, wrong. Tim, you're a dumbass. Then you just have to offer up the explanation to prove the things that I show you, because the rocks don't lie. So in other words, forget about those flipping scientists over there where Steve lives in the UK. Remember that about 10 years ago, those English scientists were caught baking their data. They were lying to you. They were lying. They were changing their data to make it look like we were causing the trouble. They got caught. Well, guess what? That's the beautiful thing about rocks. So if you go look at the data in the rocks don't lie. All right, enough of that. All right, let me get caught up here. Bob says, in my past 80 plus years, I've heard a lot and we are still here. However, I do believe that, Bob, I agree. I don't think it's a good idea to dump used motor oil on the ground. I don't think it's a good idea to throw valuable metals in the garbage. In other words, recycling is a great idea. I don't think it's a good idea. I think what I would like to see, but I think the oil companies are holding it back. why aren't we powering our vehicles with water? All right. I mean, why don't we burn hydrogen? All right. I mean, so because when you burn hydrogen, you just make more water. All right. So I'm with you, Bob. I don't want to be a polluter, but man, this whole man-made climate change, it's an agenda to take money away from us. That's what it's about. Will Smith. Will's always Mr. Frickin'. You can always count on a joke from Will. H. I choose to sympathize your trials and tribulations of trying to inform incoherent and ignorant people. Right, exactly. I know. I'm just trying to wake people up, Lee. I'm just trying to wake people up. Just trying to get them to wake up. That's all. Ted wants to know, can you summarize your logic? Yes. I'm going to do a summary. That's a great question. Can I summarize my logic? Yes. It's Ted. Simple. It's a known fact that 15,000 years ago, where I'm sitting right now, I'm here in central New Hampshire, I would have been buried. I mean, I can show you the cliff right behind my house created by the glacier. I would have been under 3,000 feet of ice. And 15,000 years ago, there were no factories, no cars, no cars running on gas, because that's what they're trying to tell you right now. You got to get rid of your freaking car. You got to run electric, man. Even though the electric, we're using fossil fuels to create the electric, but don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. But you still have to get rid of your car. Right? Understand there were no cars, no buses, no tractor trailers, no factories, no power, no coal burning power plants. Nothing. There was nothing on the planet except a few 100,000 people, maybe 1 million people every now and then having a campfire going. All right. That's the summary. So in other words, you're telling me that all those campfires melted the freaking glaciers? Okay, Lorraine, you missed a lot. You're going to have to rewatch it. Yeah, exactly. Sean, the continents are formed by climate change. No, Sean, you're wrong about that. That's not what. The continents were not formed by climate change. I happen to be an expert in that. You're going to love this. We're going to end the poll. I'm going to save this for you, and then I'm going to. There is a book that I want you to read. It is the coolest book. I've read the book 3 times. It's written by a geologist who is a teacher. He's a college professor out west. I hate when that happens. He's a college professor out west. And it is, let's see, on this page I'm going to give you, it is I don't know, it's the 5th book down. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the 6th book down. It's the 6th book on this page. These are my favorite books. All right. But there's a book on that page called Rough Hewn Land. Amazing book. I'm telling you, you've got to get this book and read it. It explains the geology from California all the way over to like the Front Range of the Rockies. And it really goes into really great detail about, continental drift, how the continents just move around like a Ouija board. So in other words, you have to understand the continents, like Australia and North America, South America, Asia, they're all just kind of moving around like a Ouija board. And it has nothing to do with climate change, just, nothing. It's because underneath the continents, you've got the mantle, and it's basically like just think of those moving walkways in the airport. I mean, so that when you are in the airport, you got to go a long way. You can stand on that walkway and you just stand there and you just kind of move along. All right. So that's what's happening to the continents. There's plate tectonics. The plates are moving around. So it has nothing to do with climate change. Ted's talking about semantics, whatever. All I can tell you is that don't when they say that we're ruining the planet, that when the tree huggers, if you're part of the tribe that thinks we're messing up the planet, then I'm challenging you with a question. You explain to me. You need to explain to me. Tell me what happened to melt all the ice of the continental glacier. In other words, it went in the past 15. It only took 7,000 years. It took 7,000 years to go from New York back to the North Pole. You explain to me how that happened. Tell me what happened. What caused the ice to melt? That's all you got to do. All right. But remember, I've taken a bunch of your things away from you. In other words, you're not going to be able to say it was cars. You're not going to be able to say it was buses and trucks and coal burning power plants. You're not going to be able to say it was any of that stuff because they didn't exist. Ted, you're wrong, just so you know. Ted says something dramatic caused the glaciers to melt. Well, what was it, Ted? Wasn't us. We weren't around. There were no, see, that's what I'm trying to get you to wake up, Ted. Ted, I'm trying to wake up. Come on, you're close. You're getting close. Wake up. Get up out of bed. Wake up. Yeah, okay, fine. I agree with that. A lot of the experts think it was axis tilt. Well, then stop believing these idiots that tell you that we're doing it, because we're not messing it up. That's the whole point. In other words, they're making their arguments saying that we, in the past 125 years, since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, we've been putting all the CO2 into the atmosphere, and we're causing climate change and ruining everything. That's not true. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's that the climate change is on its own. They're just hoping that people are stupid and listen to what they say. So you just need to push back and say, stop it, because you guys don't know what you're talking about. That's what you need to say to them. Simple as that. All right. I've been on too long. I got to go. Ted, how do you know it's okay? We're going to have to go. We're going to have to put on the boxing gloves. So you tell me how it's a fact. Tell me how it's a fact. Are we going to use the scientific data from those guys over in England that got caught baking their data? Is that what we're going to do? Are we using that data? Shame on you. Stop believing this stuff that you're reading, Ted. You trust the scientists. So are we talking, is it the same scientists that are related to the ones that were talking to us about the illness? Do you remember that one really famous scientist that was on television every day? And back in the beginning, he said, no need to wear a mask. Then you got to wear a mask. Then you don't have to wear a mask. And then he went to a baseball game right to the height of thing, not wearing a mask. Are these a scientist? Is that the same ones, Ted? Are we trusting the same guys? And Ted, you know, history is littered with scientists being wrong, right? You know that, right? Come on. See, that's where you gotta wake up, Ted. Gotta wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Ted, what about, are the scientists that you trust? I've got a question to ask you. Are they related to the scientists? I mean, the supposedly the best in the world, the best in the flipping world. Do you remember what they said? They said that the Earth was the center of the solar system. And if you disagreed with them, they put you to death. Are your scientists, Ted, are your scientists, are the ones that you trust, are they related to the scientists that, I mean, top scientists in the world that said the Earth was flat? Are they related to those scientists? Ted, got another question for you. Are the scientists that you trust, are they related to the scientists back in the 1700s that thought that bloodletting was the best way to cure illness. I mean, they would actually cut you and bleed you. Are they related to those scientists, Ted? Oh, somewhat. They are related. Oh, right. You're starting to wake up. Good. Splash a little bit more cold water in your face. Should I keep going and giving you examples? I'm trying to explain to you, Ted, that history is littered with scientists being wrong. They're wrong. All right. No, Ted, you're trying to change gears here. We are always, I mean, you're not, you can't say stuff like that. That doesn't work in a debate. All right. That doesn't work. You can't come back like that. That doesn't work. No, doesn't work. All right. We are always learning. All right. That would be like me saying, you know what? I'll answer your we are always learning. All right. It's just like, have you ever played poker? You know, so in other words, in poker, I'll see your we are always learning, and I will raise you that tomorrow it's going to be windy somewhere in the world. I'll raise you that. All right. So what do you want? What do you want to say now? Stop being silly. All right. Stop it. Ted, just wake up and go. All you need to do is just say, wow, I may be wrong about this climate change thing. And the reason, and you shouldn't beat yourself up, just so you know. It's not your fault. You've been lied to. You've been lied to. Just like here in my HOA. I'll give you an example real quick, then I'm out of here. So for the past 2 years in our HOA, the leadership of the HOA has been circulating a story that these new homeowners came in and they cut down trees on common land and that they are bad people. That's the story that's been circulated. All right. Ted, just like, in other words, the scientists that you trust have been telling you things. All right. And you go, okay, I trust you. So the people in my HOA trusted the leadership. Well, the people that cut the trees down on common land, I got to know the guy in the past 6 weeks, and he sent me the email that he received from a board member, one of our leaders, a private email that he sent me where the board member told him and gave him permission to cut the trees down. And that information has been withheld from all the people in the HOA. How do you think they would feel if they found out that piece of information? So, Ted, stop trusting your scientist, okay? Stop it. Exactly, John. I mean, so Ted, I appreciate you, man. But you've, like I said, depending on how old you are, it's really hard. People get really hardened and your ego gets fragile. And have you ever looked at little kids? I'll end with this. Have you ever noticed little kids, and I'm talking like 3-year-old, 4-year-old, maybe 5 years old, that get into an argument and then 10 minutes later, they're best friends again? Have you ever wondered about that? Why, when you get older, do you get so set in your position that even if you're shown that you're wrong, that you can't say, okay, shit, I was wrong. What do you know? What do you know? I was wrong. But for some reason, because your ego, what happens is as you get older, your ego gets a lot more fragile. And you don't want to admit that you're wrong because you feel like you're giving up ground. That's a mistake. Because I'm telling you, here's all I'm going to tell you. Steve's back. So, Ted, I'll tell you this. I would be the first person in line if you can prove to me that everything that's on my page at my website is wrong. I would be the first to say, whoa, what do you know? Wrong. Maybe we are ruining the planet. So that's my challenge to you. Go prove to me that everything you see there is wrong. I have no idea what percentage believe in it. But here's the problem. Lee, that's a great question. Go to my page. I'll put it in again. Oh, no, it's the wrong one. Never mind. Go up to my climate change page. Lee, what you have to understand is that, first of all, right now, the teaching geologists, they've all been polluted. Almost all of them are working in liberal universities, and the conservatives have been weeded out. And here's the other problem is that, and I cover this in the first 1,000 words in that page, is that these quote, like the people that Ted is trusting. Ted, do you realize that these people are getting grant money? They're getting grant money from liberal think tanks. And if they don't produce the data that the liberal think tank wants, they don't get any more grant money. So you can't trust the scientists because they're getting money. You probably didn't know that. Ted says you might have some points. Okay, but you don't think, well, all right, Ted, that's a good start of waking up. Here's what your challenge is. Go read that page at my website. Tell me if you're strong enough to do that. Do you have enough inner strength to do that? And then you need to start saying, wait a minute, how did this happen? That's all you got to do. You just got to say, how could this possibly happen? How could all that ice melt when man wasn't around? And what the whole point is, understand this. We're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of times more ice than what we have now. See, in other words, I don't dispute that the ice is melting now. The Athabasca Glacier is melting. Other glaciers in the world are melting. I know that. They're just melting a tiny bit. All right? They're just melting a tiny bit. You need to explain to me, why is there this difference between what's happening now and what happened 15,000 years ago? All right. Ted, I hate to tell you this, Ted, you're wrong. I'm going to tell you this again. How do you know that temperatures are increasing? I already know what your answer is going to be. You're going to say, well, because I believe these people that are telling me that the temperatures are increasing. Don't you understand that you're being lied to? Don't you understand that the data can be baked? I feel sorry for you, buddy. I really do. I feel really sorry for you. Humans are to blame. How can humans be to blame? How do you know that? See, you're making a statement here. Temperatures are increasing. Humans are to blame. It's recorded data. Ted. Okay, I'm going to record some data. Watch. It's pretty cool. Watch this. I just recorded some data. I'm just going to say it's 41 degrees Fahrenheit here. I just recorded data. Is that accurate or not? Tell me. Is the data accurate? Ted, tell me why you believe the temperature data is accurate. $7 billion, whatever that means. Ted, you need to understand, you got to stop trusting people. Stop it. Okay, I got to go. Over 2 hours. Thanks for being here. Ted, I thought I was waking you up. I don't know what, yeah, exactly. Give your head a wobble. All right. All right. Ted, you need to wake up. Go to seriously. If you come back here on another day, like Saturday morning, I'll be on Saturday morning briefly. You've got tonight and tomorrow to go read that page at my website. And then you just need to disprove what I've said. That's all. If you can disprove it, I'm all in. I'm all in. You've won me over to your camp. but you need to do that. And you can't do it by just saying these hollow comments. They don't count. All right, got to go. Lorraine, Ted, Will, Steve, John, all these people above. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Great discussion. BLM, buy lots of mansions. Yes. Or look at this. All right, gotta go. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'll be here on Monday. All right, Steve, have a great time. Have a great weekend. I gotta go. I'm building an onion in the morning, a ham radio onion. We can talk about it on Monday. I'll show it to you. Good night. Thanks for being here. Thanks a lot. Ted, go read that page on my website. That's your homework. You need to wake up, buddy. You've been lied to and you've been played, and you need to yeah, no problem. No problem, Ted. But I'm just serious. I'm not trying to beat up on you, but I'm telling you, the sooner you realize you've been lied to, the better your life's going to be, is all I can tell you. You've been lied to, you've been played, and you should be angry about it. You should not feel bad about it on a personal level. I'm not upset at you. I don't think you're an idiot. Nothing like that at all. It's just that I just feel sorry for people like you. I feel so sorry that you cannot realize that you've been played. I just feel so sorry for you. I'm serious. Go read that page. And I'm just hoping, all I want to get from you by reading that page about climate change on my site is just for you to go to bed and go, all that you need to do is just say, holy tomato. Maybe I have been lied to. Maybe they're not telling me all the truth. And that's what I said a half an hour ago. Your takeaway after you read that page, Ted, should just be this. Should be like, why haven't my news sources told me all this stuff that's on Tim's page? Why haven't they told this? Because if they told you that, it would completely undermine what they're saying. That's why you're only getting you're not even getting hardly any truth. That's what I maintain. You're not getting any of it. So you should be angry at them. You should be so angry at them. Okay, gotta go. Thanks for being here. I'm Tim Carter. Was on way too long today. 2 hours, 7 minutes. Crazy. Thanks for being here. I'll be here Saturday morning, 8:00 in the morning. I don't know how long. I got a ton of stuff to do, but I'll be on Saturday morning. I'm Tim Carter. You've been watching Ask the Builder and Ask the Geologist.